Are you thinking about moving to the Tacoma-Seattle area, but are afraid of how much it rains? I hear that a bit. Here we have a saying, we don't burn, we rust. If you like to separate fact from fiction, stay with me. In this video here, we'll talk mostly about the rain here in the Northwest, as that is what we're known for. We don't have tornadoes, hurricanes, heat waves, snowstorms, humidity, extreme cold, extreme heat. What we have is rain. So we're going to talk about four aspects of it, four parts of it more or less. The rain shadow effect, how much it rains, when it rains, and the latitude of the sun. Stay tuned. Let's go. I've been a realtor in the Tacoma-Seattle for 20 years, and I've experienced a lot of rainfall on me. This channel is about real estate and what it's like to live around here, the good and the bad. This is Dirk with Dirk Properties here at Keller Williams, Tacoma. To talk about rain here in Washington State, first we need to talk about the rain shadow effect. The rain shadow effect occurs when you have a set of mountains that blocks moisture. And for the moisture or the clouds to pass, typically the mountains wring out some of the rain before it goes on. Probably the biggest case is what you see in the Rocky Mountains, and that's why the plains to the east are so dry. Most people that live here in the Northwest or know it well know about the rain shower effect from the Cascade. Less known is the rain shower effect from the Olympic Mountains, which are to the west of Tacoma-Seattle. Here on this map of Washington, courtesy of Google, you'll see green areas and some brown areas. The most pronounced rain shower comes from the Cascade Mountains, which runs north and south from Canada down to Oregon. We call these two sides, surprisingly, the west side and the east side. The west side is the wet side. The rainy side and east side is the drier side, this brown area again. When all the moisture that rolls in from the Pacific hits the Cascades, the mountains tend to squeeze out the moisture and make it rain on the west side. Okay, so all those apples that you eat that are from Washington, it comes from the east side of the state, where the growing season is sunny, dry, and not humid, which helps to keep down the bugs and the diseases away. This is where the Columbia River runs through, which plumps up all the apples. So eastern Washington is where all the grapes are grown too. So for comparison, while it rains about 40 inches around the Tacoma-Seattle area, in the Wenatchee area, which is right about there, where a lot of apples come from, it rains about 9 inches a year there. That's similar to Phoenix, Southern California. So this right here is the Cascade Mountain rain shadow. Here's Tacoma, Seattle. Here's the Olympic Mountains to the west. As the moisture comes in from the Pacific, it hits this band of mountains right here and creates a rain shadow effect for the areas to the east. And on this, like Forks and La Push, they might get 90 inches of rain. The Olympic National Forest is right along here, and it gets buckets. I don't know, 140 inches a year, almost 12 feet. Down here is Aberdeen. This is where Kurt Cobain, if you ever heard of Nirvana, this is where he grew up, and they get 60 inches of rain. So the Olympics dry out some of the weather before it hits Seattle and Tacoma. If you go to the Sequim area, because it's really close to Olympics, they get 15. That's a retirement center, or a lot of people like to retire there because it's dry. It gets about 15 inches of rain. Port Townsend is a little bit of a tourist destination. It gets 17 to 20 inches of rain. So the Olympic Mountains can have a tremendous effect on the moisture in and around the area. Now that we have a little bit of the backstory and the rain shadow effect on Washington State, let's talk about how much it rains. Full disclosure, right now we're getting hammered by La Nina, which makes it wetter and colder around here than usual here. I can't wait to say goodbye to La Nina. But typically it rains about 40 inches a year. And let's dig in a little further and with some context and compare it to other cities. All right, for a bit of context, I picked 4 other cities. 2 on the East Coast, that's Orlando and New York. Orlando's got 51 inches. It's there in Florida, so it gets easily 10 more inches of rain than Tacoma-Seattle. New York is close to 10 more inches. Chicago in the Midwest gets about the same. And Phoenix, no surprise being in the desert, gets 7. How can it be that Tacoma-Seattle has perception of being the rainiest city or one of them, but when there's tons of cities, a lot of cities on the Mississippi or east that rain a lot more? Before point number 3, the subscribe button. YouTube puts a subscribe button for a reason, for you to click on and save you time and energy. Just one click away. If you don't want to see me again, don't click it. But you do, right? When it does rain, we don't get a lot of thunderstorms here. Our rain is slower, more frustrating, and we call it drizzle. So other parts of the country, when they get those 30-minute thunderstorms, it can rain more in a half hour than we get in a day. And when it does rain, most of our rain, 50% of it comes in 4 months: November, December, January, February. You tack on either end, October and March, we get 75% of our rain. So during that 6 months, the perception is real. It rains here all the time. Not all the time, but a lot. That's when it does most of its business. Now, the other 6 months of the year, we get 25% of the rain. So that's the other extreme that not many people talk about. But when they do come to this part of the country, it's awesome. And people deal with the winter blues, the winter rain, by heading south to the desert, mainly California or Arizona. Just like the people that are tired of shoveling snow in the Midwest or the Northeast, head to Florida. This brings us to point number 4, our latitude. We are the furthest north of all the cities, and consequently, come wintertime, it's the darkest, and in the summertime, we get more sun than anybody when the sun's out, but we have more daylight than any other city in the lower 48 states. The fact that we are further north than New York, Chicago, and all the other cities in the lower 48, it doesn't get enough credit or notice, and it's real. And you can see here, January 1st, we get about 8.5 hours of daylight. Orlando almost gets 2 hours more. Phoenix is 1.5 more, and New York and Chicago about the same, and they get 50 minutes more. Summertime, over here, the shoe is on the other foot. What goes around comes around. You can see that in yellow, and it's sort of flip-flop. Now we go to the other extreme, and we have 2 hours more than Orlando, hour and a half more than Phoenix, 40 to 50 minutes more than New York and Chicago, and the sunsets last for quite some time. Twilight is quite extensive, so you feel like there's almost too much daylight. You're going to bed when it's light and getting up when it's light. So Tacoma, Seattle has a reputation for raining a little bit. That's true, 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 true for 6 months out of the year. And during the winter months, when it's raining, as a friend from one of the Dakotas told me, there's three things. One, it's 32 degrees. Two, you don't have to shovel it. And three, you're not going to slip on it. The other part of living in the Tacoma-Seattle area, it's the short days in the winter. That's the truth, and I don't think it gets enough credit. So really, the only way besides going south for ideally part of January, February, is you just gotta get outside. There's a reason why REI is in Seattle. Give you gear so you can deal with the rain. However, the other 6 months can be fabulous. Depends on the year. So while others are dealing with tornadoes, hurricanes, sweltering heat, humidity, desert-like conditions, hiding indoors, we are outside enjoying the mild climate and picnicking. Come visit us or move here. Give me a call. I'd love to have your comments below. If you have additional questions or thoughts on the climate weather here in Washington, unless you're a meteorologist, give me a call or text me. Just kidding. If you're a meteorologist, I'd love to hear from you too. I'm sure you have some words of wisdom.